Outside the pool. And then there's some member perks that make us sweet. With AAA, it pays to be a member.
City Vacation Rental, if it's not listed on Booking.com, it's invisible to millions of travelers on our platform.
Lifestyle, because first and foremost, let's not forget, he's not just targeting random civilians. I'm sure, possibly, probably innocent people who lost their lives at the hand of King Ball, people who are completely not related at all to the gang life, because unfortunately, what a lot of these gangsters do is if they can't get to you, they'll target your friends, your family members. Shit, even if they can get to you, sometimes they do that just to inflict more emotional pain on you. So I'm not saying that he hasn't done that, but the word that he is associated with, that he's notorious for, are typically people. So these are people at war with one another. They've entered into combat with each other. And so when you have experienced so much death, right, your father, your friends, from a very young age, you're like, why would I care? Why should I care about who hurts when I take their lives? You know, and they would take mine, and he knows that if given the opportunity, they would take his life in an instant. And so I can see how a person.
Abraham Lincoln united a nation that was deeply divided. He gave his life as a martyr for the cause of peace. Every hero's journey begins with a blank page, yet their achievements have echoed through time. The stories of these individuals remind us that greatness often starts with the courage to turn the first page. Today we honor them as the heroes of history. Play now and collect them all.
I run a podcast solo. No producer, no editor, no tech skills, just Riverside. I get high quality podcast recordings right from my room, and I'm not even using expensive equipment. Watch this. Riverside takes my recording into social clips automatically. It even creates thumbnails and writes the description, so I can post it fast without getting overwhelmed. If you want to start a podcast, this is the only tool you need. Try it for free today.
Another chance.
Publicly mocking deceased rivals indicates a lack of empathy and possible antisocial personality disorder traits, such as disregard for others' feelings, deceitfulness, and hostility. ASPD is what is commonly known as psychopathy. Ron has a strong case for ASPD, as he never once displayed any signs of remorse or guilt for the actions he did. In fact, he showed enjoyment, pride, and excitement, like he wanted to keep doing it. Alongside the psychopathy, Von using social media as an open diary to boast about violent acts suggests narcissistic traits, including the need for admiration and a sense of security.
That part is crazy. Bro was tweeting about the various things that he was doing, getting 2 likes, 3 likes, long before the fame, long before anyone viewed him outside of his immediate social circle and his community. He was like tweeting about all the killings that he was doing. Insane, bro. Insane shit.
At 18 years old, Ron was already a narcissistic psychopath with a heavy desensitization to murder, and these traits would only reinforce and worsen his time. Right. In 2012, Ron would be in prison for unlawful possession of a firearm, and will remain in jail for over a year, a period spanning from November 2012 to February 2014. When he came out, the violence started back up again. I'm not going to focus too much on the particular details of his alleged victims, but this next one does need some context to really understand the people inside. 17-year-old gangster disciple Jakara Barnes, known as K.I., is a legendary figure in Chicago Black history. Chicago sometimes refers to her as the assassin. She was allegedly heavily involved in the killing of Odie Perry, so her beautiful was intense. However, Von would treat K.I. very differently to his male rivals. He would tweet her constantly and act as though he was flirting. However, it's highly probable.
Man. I guess women, female empowerment can manifest in all kinds of ways, right?
Jesus. That he never
I don't like this version of it.
She liked her, but was probably trying to manipulate her so she could let her guard down, allowing him to kill her. He would say, "I think I love you," and call her wife multiple times. Someone years later also allegedly hacked her Twitter account and posted her DMs with her. He was asking to sleep with her. This was prior to him going to jail.
Oh yeah, he was for sure trying to set her up.
When he got out, things got more hostile. Von had lost a friend whilst in prison through J Money and would come out to KI mocking his death on Twitter. A taste of his own medicine. He even tweeted that.
Battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Oh my.
Cheese. It's them getting homemade cheeseburger from that one. Now a juicy bacon cheeseburger served on a skillet of cheese.
She even tweeted that if she could, she'd dig J Money up and shoot him again.
God
He was stopped tweeting
damn.
her for a couple months. And on April 11th, 2014, KI would be standing on a porch before being gunned down. She would be shot 9 times and be pronounced dead in 2 hours later. One would be picked up by the police later that month, but he was never formally charged with KI's murder. The police were unable to charge him due to inconsistencies with witness statements. Until many years later in 2021, the police finally revealed the murder was indeed Von's doing. Again, hailing this murder, Von's mockery using social media continued. Tweeting, I see people aren't going to get a picture until they get put in a frame with a laughing emoji, which doesn't seem like the worst thing. But it becomes more sinister when you find out that was one of KI's final tweets.
Jesus Christ.
After getting released by the police,
Jesus Christ. Now, here's the thing. Why was he flirting with her? Well, for one, obviously, he was trying to set her up. If she actually fell for that, that's obviously her fault. Well, I don't even really think that he thought she would ever bite. If she did it, of course.
Captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going. The area's almost yours.
Shall not rest yet.
Shopify is a platform that helps entrepreneurs get started down the path they want. Sometimes starting a business can be scary.
I feel like I lost a piece of my soul.
Like getting covered in spiders or being buried alive. But Shopify is here to help. If I had started my own business, I would have been able to go to all the crazy places like Antarctica and make videos like these for you guys. And just like millions of other people have done with Shopify, you can get started today on your business right now. Go to Shopify.com and start your free trial today.
Control lost.
Again, my ancestors are watching. Oh, no skill shot!
Of course, that would have been such an easy trap. But it's also a way to disrespect her, because she's trying to navigate this world of masculinized violence, right? And so, in a way, disrespecting her. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you're not one of us. You're just a chick, right? You're just a sexual object. You are the weaker vessel. You are, what are you doing trying to run with the big boys? You know what I'm saying? You're a little girl. And he gets to say all of that, communicate all of that without saying it explicitly by
Another epic victory.
you know. So it was really, I think that's really what he was just doing. He was just trying to disrespect her.
But to charge him with this murder, he tweeted, beating bodies ain't no going to prison, which fed his narcissism and made him feel invincible. And Von would prove how invincible he truly felt years later. Due to KI's notoriety, allegedly killing up to 17 people as a female gang member, a documentary was being made about him.
Wow.
Due to an oversight from the production team or just a lack of research, they decided to ask King Von himself to be a part of the documentary.
God damn!
Your hero.
K out, not knowing that Von was her murderer.
That's insane, bro. That's so disrespectful.
Von jokes about how he wanted to sleep with her, occasionally grinning, as the murder potentially replays in his mind. Being in this documentary would have boosted his narcissism, knowing he wasn't just getting away with murder, but with being able to mock it on a bigger scale. In Von's mind, impunity was constantly reinforced. This is the ability to act with exemption from punishments, losses, or other negative consequences for his actions. Repeatedly evading legal consequences may reinforce his belief in him being untouchable, making risky and criminal behaviors something he'd want to keep pursuing. In fact, the same month he was released for the KingAgatha, he would murder again. On the 29th of May 2014, a birthday party would be going on that Von attended. It stated that Von was chatting up other party guests until he spotted two rival gang members at the house and took off. Time went by, and later on, one of Von's rivals moved up and saw Von with an associate approaching the house, and the two of them. Von chased them back firing with guns, hitting them, and they got away. When the smoke had cleared, a 19-year-old that wasn't Von's time, his face was in blood from the side of the street. He had been shot 4 times, including one to the head, and was dead at the scene. Although Von almost certain he did this murder, he would never brag about it on social media. This shows that Von's satisfaction only comes from making his rivals their friends. He enjoys brutally taking something from them, and not just murder them.
So here's an example of what we were talking about earlier. Innocent people definitely die as a result of this violence, this social violence.
And so, Von would remain in jail for this murder.
He didn't take pride in it, right? He didn't. And so is it even really fair to call him serial killer? I don't know if it's even fair to call him serial killer. This was a man at war, and he only wanted to take him. If he's a serial killer, we gotta call every American soldier that killed people in the movie serial killer. That's all I'm saying, right? Why is this war any less invalid than the wars that are taking place in the movies, right? Why? Because a white government said it is, that it's valid? No. So if KingAgatha's a serial killer, then every American soldier that has bodies are also serial killers. And I'm saying that's not true. I don't believe that. So yeah, this was a man at war. This was a cold-hearted man, a callous man, a jaded man at war.
Trial from June 2014 to December 2017, 3.5 years in jail. However, by some powers, he managed to escape from punishment. Von's accomplice in the shooting would back out of his deal with the court's last minute, and in a crazy turn of events, Von would get away with this murder because they had no much to realism. I don't even think it needs to be stated how much this would have been a driving force with grandiosity and losses. As down the line, he will continue to be braggadocious about what he's done in the streets, upgrading to Twitter to a more artistic form. After coming out of prison, he seemed to have a particularly strong bond with his friends as well.
You know what though? That is a difference. I don't know how many American soldiers are proud of what they have to do. Right, the ones who take part. I don't know how many of them. I mean, a lot of them actually. They feel fucked up about it, and so maybe we can't say they're quite the same. See, you don't have a lot of them coming back to America, and I'm sure there are some soldiers that come back after knowing that they've killed many people, and they sleep like babies. In fact, they look back at that time of their life like it was a fun adventure, and so then probably it's just that it's not a good look. Try and rap about it, sing about it, or write books about it, so they don't really say anything. But I think most American soldiers who find themselves in that situation probably.
Click here to answer and hatch your own pet on Adapted Mind.
Correct.
Probably aren't
30 seconds before you attack.
Of
Get
what they
ready.
have, what they did while following orders.
Dirk also came up in Southside Chicago, but had made it out to the music. Dirk knew about the work that Von done in the streets, and knew that telling these stories would appease music fans in that genre. So with Dirk's encouragement, Von picked up a mic and started rapping. Von was used to bragging about his street work via Twitter, so he quickly became accustomed to spinning his truth into his raps, saying lines like, "I will body, beat that body, catch some more," which could be a reference to any of his alleged murders, even some I have uncovered. In fact, Von would gloat at being 3 murders away from having something to do. which really makes it special. I thought he could work in the streets is even kind of with the label of a serial killer is a person who murders 3 or more people, check. With the killings taking place over a significant period of time in separate events, check. Their psychological gratification is the motivation for the killing. The motives of the serial killers can include anger, thrill-seeking, financial gain, potential. Those motives could have been anything. He learned from getting revenge for his murdered friends, thrill-seeking if he's murdered such as the progression of his deviance as a child, or the attention-seeking, because even when he wasn't on his we still
Yeah.
get to the street.
Yeah, no, actually, no, you. I have to take that completely back. This nigga probably is definitely the support for it. He really does check out all the odds. So, the level of notoriety for his violence and evil. As surprising as it may sound to have a serial killer in the modern day, let alone one that became a famous music artist, this label may actually be true. Right. I'm not a psychologist, so I can't really say for certain or any degree of authority. But it sounded like it lines up.
Provided an outlet for his experiences. He continued to glorify violence in his lyrics, possibly making this the way to gratify his criminal activities and status, without having to continue the risk of getting caught in the streets. He gained a big audience for his gritty lyrics and depiction of the realism of being a killer in the streets, and this allowed him to be put on a big pedestal. One success in music didn't stop the dealers, but from what I've researched, it stopped him murdering directly. In August 2020, a rival of his named FBG Duck, who also made music, was gunned down in Chicago in front of a designer store. Although one wasn't physically there committing the murder, he allegedly put a $100,000 bounty on his head using his newfound music. This further proves that one satisfaction comes from seeing his rivals die, more than the act of killing himself. One fell on top of the rock. In October that year, he put out a tweet saying, "Everything you out there doing in the street, I did it times 10 o'clock later. I got paid for it, got out of here, and did it some more. Then I got rich and took care of everything for everything. Never be." He clearly felt super prideful that he'd done so much and believed that he was the top guy in the game. He said to never be too humble at the top. One had a minor beef with another artist named NBA Youngboy. He had an artist signed under him named Kondo Wonder, and amongst the street nature, an associate of an artist is listening up, so Zone and Kondo would like each other. One day after one of our shows, he'd be outside the club and see Kondo, and within seconds, he'd swing at him and start a fight. However, Kondo's friend, Tim, would pop out of the vehicle and shoot. Vaughn had been hit multiple times and would later be pronounced dead.
26, man.
Vaughn's psychological profile is complex.
What was this dude's name? Lil Tim? Whatever happened to him?
Kondo's friend, Tim.
Yeah. Whatever happened to him? Is he still breathing? Timothy Leaks, a.k.a. Lil Tim, an affiliate of rapper Kondo Wonder, shot and killed rapper King Von during a November 2020 altercation in Atlanta. While initially charged with felony murder, Lil Tim's charges were dropped in August of this case. It is a public greatest demons, one of Satan's most loyal soldiers off the battlefield. We'll just call this simple effects. But his lawyer stated the case was dismissed before indictment, often citing himself. 6 months ago, he did an interview. So he's still breathing, and he's doing interviews. Oh,
He trying to get off in the music,
oh my God. This man probably has to walk around perpetually looking over his shoulder.
One psychological profile is complex, shaped by early trauma, environmental factors, and individual choices. His behaviors suggest the presence of antisocial personality, characterized by a pervasive pattern of disregard for the rights of others and societal norms. The combination of the traumatic upbringing, lack of positive role models, reinforcement of violent behaviors, and absence of legal repercussions create a perfect storm to the development of his criminal identity. The only time Von ever showed vulnerability was upon learning about his best friend's death while he was incarcerated. Von was imprisoned awaiting trial after his murder of Malcolm Stumpy, and during that time, his best friend and right-hand man T-Roy, who Von had committed a lot of these violent acts with, was shot and killed in a shot. Von would admit that upon hearing about T-Roy's death, he was in tears.
With my dad, get my dad got locked up. I ain't tried for long.
His admission of crime indicates that he was capable of deep emotional connection, albeit limited to a select few. It was the same emotions that he channeled after the losses of his other friends that turned to killing as revenge. Despite these moments of grief, he did not regret his involvement in the street life. This suggests a compartmentalization of his emotions, where he could experience personal loss without reassessing his lifestyle choices. A music career which celebrated and glorified his private actions, not only forced him being dark and twisted, but actually influenced others, perpetuating the cycle within his community. In the end, one was only ever bound to his actions by consequences, and in the eyes of some, he survived to live with that shit.
Really? It's like Satan himself. Well, if Satan did that, he was protecting this guy. The fact that he was able to live for so long, he avoided going to prison.
Motherfucking Tyson.
That's the story.
I don't have a team. I'm by myself.
Right? Let me know what you think.
I'm by myself.
Do you think he actually qualifies as a serial killer? This man who fully embraced this gangster lifestyle. We saw him set up that war for It's very good. So you let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching.
You'll have to keep fighting until we have
Does your internet bill keep getting higher? That's because typical internet bills are full of surprises. There's no install fee.
I don't want to.
I think the trick is convincing them that you're in the middle. Convincing them that there's somebody they can look down on, but the conditions on the ground are a little bit different. Ain't that right, MAGA? Where my farmers at? Conditions are a little bit different. Ain't that right? Affordability is a hoax.
Sorry, I think
That's Jones.
I think I'm up there, man. At least enough for these phones. Hey,
Shout out to the subscribers and members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. My name is Reese Waters, and this is Racist of the Week. Where we explore the stupidity and the hypocrisy of discrimination and hopes we can build a more perfect human.
the fuck they wanted me to do was die in the backgrounds.
As usual, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Racist. Of course, if you have any nominees, you can drop them in the comments. You can email me at admin@reesewaters.com. You know why we're here.
He stopped in their tracks.
Gotta teach me that
You weren't supposed to make me laugh right at the beginning. Hey, they gave me flashbacks of riding the bus. Yes, you don't be around regular people, because this is the kind of thing that you would hear on a regular basis. But that was the scene in Tennessee, as lawmakers scattered their own kneecaps in a cave and run down to the state capitol and disenfranchise black voters. Republicans in Tennessee are giving the party a better chance to win every congressional seat in November. They voted to eliminate the state's only black majority district on Thursday. Opponents are passionate demonstration. They say this will punish black voters. Supporters, though, say the new maps are not driven by race. And a piece looks at how this fight is playing out.
Chaos at the Tennessee Capitol in Nashville Thursday as Democratic lawmakers and protesters tried to stop legislation breaking up the state's only Democratic House seat. Yelling, holding signs calling the move Jim Crow 2.0.
Now, shout out to everybody who allowed their voices to be heard, including Rep. Justin Pearson, who gave us this photo, which about sums it up. Tennessee Sergeant at Arms blocking Representative Justin J. Pearson from attending a closed-door meeting in which they're literally redrawing his district to make it wider is a photo our grandchildren and great-grandchildren will see in the history books. But then again, they might not be using books at that point. Everything could be audio visual. And then they can watch it for themselves.
Try something different.
Bring on the chaos.
There was going on in that boy. There was going on in that boy. And that boy, the way he get on board, that means I've seen that in all the movies they make by us. Yeah, that was solid. And also a shout out to Tennessee Representative Justin Jones, who gave us this, which will accompany Justin Pearson in those history books.
Now or never. Stop them. Only 60 seconds left.
On, my friend. Tremble before fast. Tremble before fast.
You stop them in
I
their
still
tracks.
have some hunt left in me.
Burning the Confederate flag
Down to 30
in
seconds.
2026. And not only is it appropriate for what's occurring, it's actually a legitimate thing. I've done videos all about the proliferation of the Confederate flag, and here I am thinking that Tennessee was in a better place. Well, for those historical records, let's keep in mind, they knew exactly what they were doing. Here you see Tennessee Republicans rubbed in Littleton laughing about stripping majority black Memphis of power.
What up, guys? Master probably here. I'm doing a boss. Even better.
That's right. They were laughing about it. Now, just for a moment, because I'm not going to get triggered here, I would just like to acknowledge the cell phone of meeting the voice of the citizens that you have taken an oath to serve
Ready to hunt.
with laughter. Keep that in mind and keep that same energy. And here you see Representative Todd Warner entering the state capitol draped in a Trump flag. I mean, I could sit here and tell jokes all day, every day, but I can't think of a more perfect representation of the state of your party and the soul of Republicans than draping yourself in the flag of another man in public and thought it was a flex.
I highly doubt that.
Y'all know how y'all look. What's that?
Battle starts in 5.
What's that about?
Here's the truth, Kentucky. I'm the biggest Trump guy there is. I haven't seen from all his leads. I agree to agree with everything Trump says. First thing each morning when I wake up is I spray myself with the smell of Trump smoke. All my passwords are just Trump 1, repeated 47 times. I'm such a big Trump guy that I've changed all my kids' names to Donald.
Even my daughter. Especially my daughter. And I'm like that, Tony. Completely wrong when he said that was a picture of him as a doctor. So much so that I will never go to a doctor again unless they're wearing the red sash doctor uniform. When my smoke alarm goes off, it's just the sound of Donald Trump's voice saying wrong.
Lesson learned. Let's try something.
You're gonna want me, the true Trump guy. Because when Trump commits a blasphemy, and we all know he does, I'm the only one in this race who doesn't care. So vote for me, Mandy Boyce. Now, I'm not gay, but to me, Trump is always gay.
And here's the interesting thing about it. Not only are you sucking from a Trump teat that barely knows your name, but one that can't even crack 40% approval. How does that look? Here, I'll show you.
So I started my career in Nashville as a reporter on Nashville, Tennessee. I love the city of Nashville. I love my time in Tennessee. But what's happened there right now is so disgraceful, and you really need to understand. It's very, very important for him. Basically, Tennessee State Capitol today, the House, a new congressional map of the state that took the one Democratic congressional district, which was part of the Memphis being very black population, the black population, Memphis is like 65%. And basically, the arch conservative MAGA movement in Tennessee decided to split that up so Donald Trump would have an additional congressional seat. And they weren't hiding it. John Stevens, a representative for Tennessee Republicans, said this map was drawn to maximize the Republican chances to win non-congressional district seats in the upcoming midterms. They literally, every state is down. They literally, it was so racist. Not like a little racist. It was so racist. You're basically saying to black people, you have no voice. You do not matter. Your representation doesn't matter. We're taking that away from you. We're going to have MAGA people representing black people of Memphis. It is so dumb.
Well, that certainly was word perfect now, wasn't it? Oh, yeah. You know it's racist when the white people call it out.
I, like maybe a lot of privileged white people, tend to think of myself as one of the good guys. And more often than not, I've probably thought of white people as being the good guys, the heroes of the stories that we tell ourselves. So it has been shocking and horrifying to see over the past 11 years the damage that white people have done to this country. And I'm thinking especially right now of the building of the Voting Rights Act, the special session that the Tennessee
this nigga
the express purpose of removing the voice of black voters in Memphis. And they are carving up the city of Memphis to make sure that the black people there cannot be represented. And when I think about the likes of Donald Trump, Stephen Bull, Senator Black Tennessee, Representative Indianapolis of Tennessee, Governor Bill Lee of Tennessee, Senator of Tennessee, Majority Leader William Lambert of Tennessee, all of these white people are revealing a deep hole in their soul. They have not recovered from the era of slavery and segregation and Jim Crow. There's a reason why this special state in Tennessee is being used to...
Oh no, you stupid boy! Oh God!
Because all of those lawmakers are intentionally, deliberately targeting black people, removing their political voice.
The time has passed.
They handle
it is their time.
I can handle my books.
But why? There's so many smart individuals who give advice.
You need an LLC and S corp. Every business is different. Legal Zone helps you figure out the best way to start doing it. Really.
I'm opening up a kickboxing gym.
For a legal hand from your business, visit Legal Zone.
What? I'm trying to push these hoes back, homie. They trying to
This is Ryoko Pro. It's a pocket-sized Wi-Fi hotspot.
about the size of a credit card stack that gives you your own private, secure internet connection wherever you go. Turn it on, it scans for the strongest nearby signal, locks in, and you're online. That's it. No apps, no setup screens, no technology required. One button, your own internet. Done. Up to 150 megabits per second, 10 devices at once, 8 hours battery life, 150 plus countries, stream, video call, work, all at the same time with the whole family computer. No lag, no buffering, no questions about who's downloading something. Ryoko Pro is a game changer in 8 powerful ways. First, speed that actually holds. Up to 150 megabits per second, stable, fast, no matter where you are. Not good enough, but actually fast. Second, unlimited data. One payment. No monthly bill waiting for you. No carrier relationship. No contracts. Yours whenever you need it. Third, up to 10 devices at once. The whole family connected. No one is fighting over the signal. No questions about who's downloading something. Fourth, 8 hours of battery life on a single charge. Morning meetings to late night streaming. You stay online all day. Fifth, no hidden fees. No overage charges. No surprises on a bill next month. Just straightforward internet at a cost that makes sense. Sixth, it works in 150 plus countries. Forget roaming fees. Forget international data add-ons. Forget the hotel business center charge. Wherever you land, you're online. Seventh, it fits in your pocket. Sleek, compact, durable. Built for people who are constantly on the move. Travelers, remote workers, digital nomads, families. Eighth, your connection is protected. Built-in security blocks from malware, phishing, and unwanted apps. Safer browsing every time, everywhere. Think about what you actually spend on staying connected when you travel. The international data apps, the roaming fees you forgot to turn off, the hotel business center charge, the airport lounge day passes just to get decent Wi-Fi. It adds up fast, and none of it gives you something reliable. Ryoko Pro replaces all of it. No carrier relationship, no monthly bill waiting for you. Unlimited data, all yours, whenever you need it. And right now, they're offering 70% off for viewers of this video, which means you're looking at a one-time cost that most people would think on their very first trip. If the price still makes you hesitate, here's the part that makes this easy. Every order is covered by a 30-day money-back guarantee. Full refunds, no questions, no hassle. So the actual risk isn't buying it. The actual risk is your next trip going exactly the way the last one did. Ryoko Pro is for anyone who travels, even once a year. For remote workers who can't afford a bad connection. For families who don't want to fight over one bar of hotel Wi-Fi. And honestly, for anyone who's ever sat in an airport staring at a spinning wheel thinking, there has to be a better way. Actually, there is. So don't wait. Secure your order now and say goodbye to overpriced, unreliable internet forever. Ryoko Pro will change the way you experience Wi-Fi.
I keep fucking flying into the fucking infoverse.
And it's MAGA to the fuck nothing. It's self-owned. And by the way, that will be the theme of today's video. Thinking that you're doing something. Since that is essentially their entire MO at this point in time, of course, they would show us just how significant it was to strip away black voting power by calling these emergency sessions. That's right. Progress is slow, but facts, those are fast.
When they want to do something to hurt black people, the wheels of government turn fucking fast. Oh yeah, this just happened. Yeah. It's the endless days. It's there right now. I'm moving some things around. Yeah, look, rural hospital closures, Ohio State, Tennessee. We got every other state. We'll deal with that later. But right now, we got to make sure black people get progress takes time. Oh, yeah, excuses. Sure. It takes decades.
You know how hard it is to get anything done through Congress? It takes years and years for a bill to go from here to there. I mean, I've watched all the cartoons. I know how hard it is. Yeah.
Small steps forward. But man, when they want to roll stuff back, they're taking like jumping frog leaps.
Yep.
Frog leaps.
Shout out to Red State Update and Tennessee Holler for keeping us abreast of everything happening on the ground in Tennessee. But hey, Alabama, Mississippi, don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. We got you. And bring Florida.
I'm actually surprised I'm shocked. Like, legit, I'm surprised that my brain is still trying to process what happened last week. Because it shouldn't be. This country is built on hurting black people. United States of America will, they'll if they hear that they can hurt a black person, they'll get it done in minutes. If they hear that they are going to help somebody, they'll have to set up studies. They'll have to have whole committee meetings about all this different shit. They got the Voting Rights Act. They pulled out them old racist maps. They went, here you go. And they went, in Alabama, they had tornado warnings going off.
Oh, you heard him correctly. Just in case you were wondering where racism sits in the hierarchy of right-wing virtues, above tornado. Life above life itself.
So what should we do?
I'm going to CashNetUSA.com. I can apply in minutes, and if approved, we can have the money as soon as the same business day.
Go to CashNetUSA.com to apply for the money you need.
We're only given so many chances to shine. Hydra has twisted metal in ways I'll never dare.
So here's another example of how a lot of white Americans are like feral animals in the case of that. They want to be openly racist so bad. They want to go back to Jim Crow so badly, so desperately, that in the state of Alabama, they were willing to vote on gerrymandering laws, to pass gerrymandering laws to pay Republicans, doing an active word and storm warning. There's alarms going on about there's flooding in the house. I mean, any black person knows this. Like, we're not shocked at how desperate these white people are to be openly racist. But this shows you like how desperate and how cornered white America is, especially with the end of white supremacy at their own hands. Not only have Republicans given more Americans more reason to be energized and vote Democrat in the upcoming midterm, you're basically causing your own destruction. As everyone said, if you nominate Donald Trump, which y'all did, you will get destroyed and y'all will deserve it. And the Alabama story hits hardening me more because for those who don't know, I actually grew up in Mobile, Alabama. I got family in Mobile. My grandmother, God rest her soul, she did a lot of civil rights activism during her time in Jim Crow. On one hand, yeah, I'm ready to crash out on every Republican who allowed this to happen. But at the same time, I still got that hope. I still got that black joy that's keeping me going. Because I honestly believe, I believe in the ancestors that white America is about to see its destruction in the next coming years. And it's their fault.
Now, put a pin in that. We're going to leave Alabama and explore the SEC a little bit more.
In Mississippi, they're going to go use the building where they seceded from the Union. Because their current building's on the work. They could wait. They could just wait until the building's ready. And in a lot of these places, they're suspending primary elections that have already started. And the thing is you go, okay, well, maybe the Democrats can push back. Well, I don't think you're missing a big part of the issue here. Which is that in this country, if you're a Republican and you want to hurt black people, there are no laws to stop you. But if you're a Democrat, you want to make anything better, not only do you have to be perfect, but every single court in the country will show up and kick your shit in. Because that's what just happened today in Virginia. They set up a 10-1 remander, try to fix this shit to counteract Texas, and the Virginia Supreme Court said, no, how dare you? What? You can't possibly use the weapons of the enemy. We have to let it be perfect. Even though the voters chose in Virginia. The voters chose that map in Virginia, in Texas, Alabama, Tennessee, Mississippi. God, what they had to do? Get a bunch of white men in suits and ties to go, boom, map's gone. They didn't have to hold an election. They had to hold a press conference. They didn't do any of that shit. And now who's going to suffer? Black people. Black people are going to suffer. And here's the thing I know about black suffering in this country. It trickles up. It trickles up to everybody else. Because the whole purpose of what the South wants to do right now is to reinstitute a hierarchy with just a few white families on the top and a bunch of dumb stuck in the middle and an entire base of black people that those dumb can look down on. That's where we are. That's where we've always been. But for the last 60 years,
we had the veneer that we had moved past. Enjoy your 250, America.
Now that was sensational. One thing I would disagree with, he had the dumb F's in the middle. No, I think the trick is convincing them that they're in the middle. Convincing them that there's somebody they can look down on, but the conditions on the ground are a little bit different. Ain't that right, MAGA? Where my farmers at? The actual conditions are a little bit different. Ain't that right? Affordability is a hoax. That's y'all's pants. There have only been 4 black congressmen elected to the U.S. House from Louisiana since Reconstruction. They're all in this photo. Oh, that's right, Louisiana.
What?
We see you too.
Play your game.
If you are taking seats from black people, which we are entitled to by the Constitution of this country, then you are a thief, in my opinion. And I'm entitled to that opinion. And any senator, if you're offended by it, that's on you, not me. Now, if that triggered you, Senator, then you should go to bed tonight, and when you go to bed tonight, talk to your God and ask your God to change your heart. Because that's conviction right there. Conviction. That's what it was. It did something in your soul. It made you feel something. And that's what happened when black men show up. When black men with courage, conviction, and righteousness show up, it triggers something in you. And you feel a way about it. So you try to limit us, you try to steal from us, and you think that we don't understand it. Every one of the black men we put up before you stands head and shoulders above every one of you on this committee. And you know it. And it does something in you that makes you feel inferior. So then you come with these white supremacist tactics because you have the numbers, but you don't have the courage. Because if you were really visionary leaders, you'd run against these black men with fair maps.
Shout out to Gary Chambers for absolutely saying what needed to be said. If you were the better candidate, if you had the better ideas, you wouldn't have to engage in any of this kind of behavior. But handling your business head up has never been MAGA's thing.
Monster Math presents Counting to 10. Okay, class. Let's count these munchkins together. 1.
What do you mean a judge struck it down? So you mean to tell me that Republicans, Tennessee, Texas, can just redraw their maps, but Virginia has to follow strict rules and they can't miss a single step? This was a 4-3 decision. One judge said, you missed the step. You made it right. You should have went left. This whole thing gets tossed out. What? Why do Democrats do that? The people voted for it. The people voted to redraw the map. So redraw the map. What's wrong with just doing it the normal way? I thought the House in every state has the power to redraw the map. And they just do it. They didn't even need to ask the people, but they did. And the people said yes. And so now you're going to tell them, oh, sorry, we're not going to do it anyways? Why do Democrats do this? Democrats do this all the time. They always play by the rules and they lose. While Republicans break the rules. They don't even ask the people. Texas and Tennessee didn't ask the people. They just did it. So why can't Virginia just do it? Don't they have a normal legislative path to just redraw the map? Just do that.
I got no problem with that. I got no problem with that whatsoever. And matter of fact, I'm close to Virginia. So y'all want me, I can go to the border and toss a vote.
30 seconds.
Out of DC.
Get ready.
You think it's I'll put it in a bottle and run it across the river.
So the Supreme Court of Virginia is going against the will of the voters? How does that make sense? They're trying to say that it's unconstitutional, but it's perfectly constitutional here in Texas. How is that possible? I mean, I think that this is all going to blow up in the Republicans' faces anyway, even if they are able to gerrymander this shit out of this country. I think that people are sick of their representation. I think that they're going to show up in droves and vote them all out no matter what. But the fact that they get to cheat and the Democrats don't get the opportunity to do it the right way, that says a lot about this country. It just says that this country is still very racist. And to that end, I think that Democrats need to start fighting dirty. They need to fight just as dirty as the Republicans. So the Supreme Court says, no, you can't use those maps. Do it anyway. What are they going to do to stop you? Because the guy in the White House is like, I don't have to follow Supreme Court, so why should we? The rules don't seem to apply to them. They shouldn't apply to us. Let's just be a fucking lawless nation. I'm so sick of seeing Republicans just getting their way all the time. And anytime that the Democrats want to do anything that's even remotely fair, then all of a sudden, no, that's unconstitutional. We need that we're not going to do that. That was voted on by the people. That should be the ultimate in say-sos. So the question is, are we just going to allow this country to fall to authoritarianism, or are the people actually going to stand up to this? If they're not going to follow the rules, I don't see any reason why we should either. And if that makes us a lawless nation for a while, I guess that's the way it's just going to have to be. But this is just more proof that Republicans know that they are not popular and they cannot win without cheating.
And if you want to know just how cooked these rules are when it comes to gerrymandering, as we have seen the Virginia Supreme Court hold what the people had decided, look no further than Ron DeSantis, where DeSantis and plaintiffs agree that the new map breaks the Florida Constitution. Governor Ron DeSantis and the group suing him over Florida's new congressional map can agree on one thing. The DeSantis-drawn districts violate parts of the state constitution, but they sharply disagree about what that means. DeSantis says those portions of the Constitution are invalid. His challengers say otherwise. Oh, that's right. That's right. The party of precedent and the party of just comply, now so they can do what they want to do, want to talk about how we can violate the state constitution because that part is invalid because we said, because of what we want to do. While you're dealing with red tape over in Virginia. See, this has been askew for far too long, and it's probably a good thing that all eyes are on this right now. Remember the laughter that was coming from the Tennessee State House? Remember that? Remember the Trump flag? Remember just how bold and boastful they've been about telling us exactly how they feel? Well, here's the thing. Other people have agency too. I know Trump likes to act shocked when anybody responds to the things that he has subjected them to, but no, they're real.
For the router, I don't pay anything for it.
The installation was super easy. I didn't have to go pick up anything on my own.
And all of the equipment was included.
It's just one and done. Anyone that needs any of those things should check out G-Fiber.
Why waste another summer not loving your body?
With Space 44, we turn that question into a successful business.
A woman has an average of 80 summers in her life. Our brand is about enjoying every single one.
We want women to feel secure in their own bodies
and to celebrate themselves. We got an opportunity for a pop-up.
And we needed a POS fast. Every system we looked at was too complex or didn't offer what we needed. Eitan had the best idea ever.
I thought that maybe we can do it with Base. I spent one evening working on Base, building it layer by layer, from checkout, sales and WhatsApp invoicing, through inventory management. By morning, we had a customized solution that actually worked.
Our first day was crazy.
People were standing in line outside the door.
They were like,
oh my God, thank you for making it happen.
I think it was the second day when I realized we were starting to sell out.
We had a list of over 100 girls that we're just waiting for our restock.
That got me really stressed out because I knew that it's really important that I would generate new inventory very fast. So me on my laptop, on a side desk, selling base whatever I needed, 3 minutes later, I had that view that I could send to my designer to create another order. I was happy with myself, with the situation.
We could also personalize everything, like creating a scheduling system with a tagline and an avatar for each team member. They loved it so much and immediately suggested upgrades.
Having my employees excited about the feature in my selling point was really outstanding for me. Now we're thinking bigger, new countries, new locations, shipping integrations.
It was my dream. We really brought something good into the world, and Base made it possible.
So in this future, Tony finally had to cooperate with someone.
You know what?
Oh boy, here they come!
A lot of people didn't say this. This is right on time. SEC, the Southeastern Conference boycott in response to the gutting of the Voting Rights Amendment. SEC universities support Republican politicians who stripped away voting districts that predominantly serve black voters while making billions of revenue for black athletes. Say all that. 56% all black Americans live in Confederate states, and as such, they deserve political representation. We are calling on all football, basketball, track and field, and other athletic programs to participate in this SEC athletics boycott. Got all nationally televised SEC games. I could do that. I don't have to watch their games. All current black athletes to transfer, Lordy, from every SEC school, and for athletes to decommit from SEC schools. You know what? I support that. Voting rights and representation are the most fundamental rights for all Americans. Black voters deserve the same rights as all other Americans.
And speaking of Rep. Justin Jones, here he is with D.L. Hughley and Tennessee Holler. If you can't run in a state, don't run in a state. That's a bar.
I don't understand why an athlete would go to a school where the state is ushering in a new iteration of Jim Crow. If athletes stop going to the Tennessees and the Louisiana, the top tier athletes, ESPN and presidents of schools, chambers of commerce would start having conversations.
And they need to be public about why they're doing it.
Right.
The other thing that occurred to me yesterday was how can the NFL send the Super Bowl to a Jim Crow state like Tennessee after what's going on here, intentionally diluting majority black Memphis with white power?
I think we have to be clear that the only time they like black bodies are when they're entertaining them or when they're on a sports field. Boycott and encourage conventions to not come to Tennessee and to Louisiana and Alabama. Telling people to go vote's not going to work because they diluted the black vote. And so we have to think of more creative strategies to put a pressure point on them and to make it painful where it matters in economics and the money.
I think if these 4- and 5-star athletes, they need to understand they are contributing to a system that only wants to erode the situation they have. You can't run in a state. You shouldn't run in a state. Bring money and resources into a state is only determined to further the rights of people that look like you. Black women voted at 92.6%. Their sons and daughters are the ones that are being forced by these schools. It's a simple message. I can't send my child to somewhere where they can't have a political stake in where they live.
Hey, Dawn Staley, this gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you. Honestly, much love out to you, but this is something that's been curious to me for quite some time. Now, granted, I'm somebody who talks about this on a regular basis, so I might have a higher sensitivity level, but the fact that the people can be so adversarial to the dignity of the very people that they show up and watch every Saturday and not have any cognitive dissonance about it whatsoever. That's never sat right with me. Let's see, he says 56% of all black Americans live in Confederate states, and as such, they deserve political representation. Calling for the transfer, the decommitting. Here you have all the schools. Boycott, transfer, decommit, demand justice. Now, it's not as if this is altogether a foreign idea. I already have a video on the channel about the NAACP calling for a boycott of the whole state of Florida, and Emmitt Smith throwing a purpose pitch at his own alma mater, the Florida Gators.
Open a Chime checking account in 2 minutes and we'll spike you up to $200. Apply now. Open a Chime checking account in 2 minutes and we'll spike you up to $200. Apply now. Open a Chime checking account in 2 minutes and we'll spike you up to $200. Apply now.
This is Donna. She just discovered that on Vinted, she can easily earn extra cash. All she has to do is sell what she doesn't wear anymore. She just snaps, lists, and with zero selling fees, she keeps every dollar she earns. Don't wear it.
And then there was Kylan Hill. This brother was a major turning point in the Confederate flag's removal. In June 2020, Mississippi State University running back Kylan Hill tweeted, "Either change the flag or I won't be representing this state anymore, and I meant that. I'm tired." His tweet went viral and put immediate pressure on state legislators and university officials to take a definitive stand. Other athletes and coaches, including those from Ole Miss, publicly backed him, as did the SEC and the NCAA. Lawmakers passed the bill to retire the old flag just days after Hill's ultimatum. Hill was later honored by his hometown for his role in the historic change. And then there's also, of course, the football team that threatened to boycott because of the University of Missouri failing to address several racial issues on campus. I would say voting rights rises to the level of racial issues on campus. I would say it definitely, at the very least, rises to that level. And let's also keep in mind, we come from a very long tradition of this kind of action. And it is also not just Black Americans that are affected.
Is dead. 6 votes. Done. I need you all to understand what that law was. It wasn't a policy preference. It wasn't a compromise somebody haggled out in the conference room. People bled for it, on camera, in front of the whole country. And it passed because something snapped. That's the law they killed today. And I swear, if one more person comes in here with this "stay peaceful, trust the process" speech, let me tell you all about the process. March on Washington worked because Jay Pay was watching what was going on the other side and doing the math. The Civil Rights Act passed as Birmingham burned it. Fair Housing Act outside 4 days after Dr. King was murdered. Dozens of American cities were on fire. Every single major civil rights law in this country has a rebellion in it. Everyone. Power didn't move because it was asked nicely. It moved because it was scared of what happened if it didn't. Moderate ask only gets heard when power is scared of what's standing right behind it. They cut that part out of the textbooks. The James speech left out the part where he said a riot is the language of the unheard. And here's the part people forget. Maybe never knew. Everything came from that movement. Everything. You're a woman with a credit card in your own name, that movement. You use a wheelchair ramp, that movement. You're an immigrant with legal protections, that movement. You're gay and your relationship has any legal standing at all, that movement. The Black Civil Rights Movement didn't just free Black people. It cracked the whole system open. Every single minority group in this country walked through that door. And today, 6 justices decided to start closing it back up. Strip the VRA. You gerrymandered the map. You passed the court. You did everything you could to make a vote not count. And now you want the people you did it to respond politely? Open that history book back up. Not the chapter they assigned you. The whole thing.
And amen to that. And one point I would also like to make is that this kind of behavior should always be associated with the kind of un-American activities they love to project on others. because I thought that representation, our democracy, was the bedrock of our identity. And here you are completely chipping away at that. Oh, did I say chipping away? Leveling that for large portions of Americans. Yeah, y'all love to talk about patriotism and draping yourselves in the flag. How funny is it going to be when we always associate you with this? And that's before we get to my final point, because as I mentioned, self-own is basically MAGA's brand at this particular point in time. With every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. You always fail to take that into consideration.
Abraham Lincoln united a nation that was deeply divided. He gave his life as a martyr for the cause of peace.
Now, wouldn't it be funny if they did all this redistricting and it still did not work in their favor? Because what I think they're going to do is end up diluting their guarantee. They're not counting the votes that they won, that they had to swing. They're not thinking about the moderates. They swung some moderate liberals. They swung some moderate Republicans from voting independent or liberal. Because people tend to forget that these maps kind of make themselves. That's why they go in and redistrict every now and then, because people's minds change. Their votes change. All of a sudden, a red district turns blue, or it may turn purple. It may not be guaranteed anymore. And think about what happened during the midterms in Florida. Republicans outvoted Democrats. Keep that in mind. They outvoted Democrats as far as like how many came out to vote. And then some of those districts still flipped to Democratic leadership. They don't, I really don't think they understand how much they have pissed a lot of their base off. I think they're going by MAGA support, which that group is getting smaller and smaller because more and more of them are getting more disenchanted by the illusion of what it looks like to be under administration. It doesn't look good. They're paying more for absolutely everything. And you expect them to vote for you. I really think arrogance is going to be their downfall, and they're rushing toward the future that they're trying to prevent right now. But we'll see how it goes in November.
That's right, it doesn't look good, but when you refuse to take any accountability, you can't make any kind of adjustments. We see it with Trump all of the time. I think Southern Republicans are displaying the political instincts of a bag of cabbage. Unfortunately, your goal of diminishing the Black caucus and eliminating Black voices are well within your reach. My humble suggestion is, instead of trolling me, you ask Joe Wilson how he feels about being in the same district with Clyburn, or creating a 6 where a Dem still will win, or Wes Clymer no longer living in the district he's running in, or making the first competitive. Have a great weekend. All right, now let's look at this South Carolina map that Macari Sellers says, please do this. So this is the proposed map. Looks like it does the opposite of what the proponents wanted. Seems to make several districts competitive in the general election. This would take South Carolina from a 6-1 GOP state to an easy 5-2, and if the day is right, 4-3. That's so weird. That's like the kind of moves you would make if you dismiss any opposition as paid agitators and George Soros-funded operatives. These are the kind of things you would do when you refuse to heed the voices of the people up to this point.
The Republicans really haven't caught on yet that gerrymandering is not going to save them. They are doomed no matter what. When Texas started this whole shit and they thought that was going to get them more seats, it started backfiring, and now that is happening everywhere. The Republicans in Tennessee recently passed a new gerrymandering map right after the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act. They're trying to eliminate the one single Democratic representative they have. And of course, the way they're able to get away with this is because they say that their gerrymandering is specifically for partisan reasons. It has nothing to do with race when they're eliminating Black majority neighborhoods. But the Republicans have not learned yet that gerrymandering is not going to work because there is no district that is safe for them. And Ron DeSantis apparently hasn't figured that out either. Ron DeSantis recently signed that new map into law, the one that they want to use to basically eradicate a ton of Democratic seats. And it's, of course, already being sued because it's unconstitutional anyway. But from experts analyzing those new maps, they discovered that it's probably going to backfire and actually give the Democrats at least one more seat. Because the Republicans' plan is to, of course, carve out these districts and spread them out, so there's basically no Democratic representation. But, as we have seen, they do not have enough safe districts in order to do this in their favor. Think about what happened last year in Miami. They elected their first Democratic mayor in 30 years. And the Republicans recently lost the Mar-a-Lago district to a Democratic candidate, which means that Republicans voted for that Democratic candidate.
That's right, the Mar-a-Lago district.
They was probably taught all those dog face masks walking up and down the street.
Either that or all the men whose wives they lost running up to them parties.
All over the country in special elections for the last year, we've been seeing Democrats outperform, and Democrats have been winning seats by 20 points, and Republicans won by double digits in 2024. We are seeing 30 to 40 point swings in the opposite direction. A perfect example of this was earlier this week in Michigan, when a Democrat won a seat in their state Senate. Kamala Harris won that district in 2024 by less than 1%, and he won it by 19 points. They cannot gerrymander their way out of that. Gerrymandering only works if you have high enough support in certain districts that you can pull away some of that lead and put it to another district to drown out Democrats. But that doesn't work when none of your districts are safe. They'll be like, oh, well, this district is winning by 10 points, so we'll just take a little bit away from that one and put it someplace else where there's more Democrats. This district that you won by 10 points last time, you're now already losing. And that's happening everywhere. So in any single red state where the Republicans are trying to do this because they think it'll help them, it's just going to backfire. Which, of course, is just going to fuel all of their suspicions when the midterms are over. Of course, the Democrats somehow just magically, poof, did magical fraud. No, it's because the Republicans are such pariahs right now that nobody wants to vote for them. And deep down, they know that, which is why they're holding secret meetings at the White House right now, preparing themselves for what happens when a Democratic majority takes over and there are investigations up deep. But also, if the Republicans thought they were actually going to do well in the midterms, they wouldn't be trying to do this in the first place.
My coworkers thought I'd get fired for eating these gummies. It's funny how I became the most productive person in the office. Just because I sleep like a baby now. So I almost made the dumbest mistake of my life. I got these legal sleep gummies with... And honestly, I was ready.
But it's fascinating that you did, because not only have you pointed a United States-sized spotlight on the idea of gerrymandering, which you've been able to successfully get away with for decades. Now we're all paying attention. A, but B, there's so many other precedents that have gone by the wayside because of your desperate attempts to hold on to power. So just imagine the kind of things that you haven't handled, MAGA. Your defense.
I certainly hope Florida's Supreme Court is paying attention, because Virginia's Supreme Court just ruled against their new congressional map. But it wasn't because they used racial or partisan data to harm voters. It was because in Virginia, state law says that for a referendum to be valid, it must first be proposed, and they must hold a complete election cycle, and then it must be approved by voters, all with the goal of protecting the voice of voters, while also providing a cooling off period to ensure the dramatic change isn't forced on Virginia without extensive consideration. They claim this process wasn't followed because 40% of voters had already voted when this referendum was originally proposed in October. It's worth noting that the majority opinion was written by a justice who was appointed by the Assembly when it was controlled by Republicans, but that same justice will need the Assembly, which is now controlled by Democrats, to approve him for another term. In other words, he put his job on the line to follow the law. And while I hate the political loss, I can't be too angry at the outcome because it leaves in place the current map, which currently gives Democrats a 6-5 majority that pretty fairly reflects the voters. The fact is that right now, if every state drew their maps like Virginia, the House Republican majority would shrink by 16 seats, because that's how much bias has been built in by geography and Republican gerrymandering. gerrymandering. Which brings us to Florida, where in 2010 voters approved an amendment to their state constitution banning the use of racial and partisan data in gerrymandering. But DeSantis and MAGA Republicans in the state legislature forced a new map through anyway, essentially claiming that the Supreme Court invalidated the Voting Rights Act, which would then in turn invalidate the amendment to the Florida state constitution. But that's not what the Supreme Court did. What they actually did was make it almost impossible to sue, which means nothing from the Louisiana decision has anything to do with Florida, which means the Florida State Supreme Court has to choose. Follow state law to the letter like we saw in Virginia and lose the House by at least 30 to 40 seats, or will they lie down for Trump and lose the House by 25 to 30 seats, in the process giving Democrats yet another reason to take the House, take the Senate, and take the White House over the next two elections, suspend the filibuster if needed, and ban partisan gerrymandering nationwide, which would effectively delete the bias in the House that at that point will be something like 20-plus seats for Republicans. And because the opportunity would be right in front of us, we might as well take it. Pass universal health care, tax a billionaires, fully fund education from pre-K through college, codify Roe v. Wade in federal law, give amnesty, citizenship, and voting rights to millions of peaceful, hardworking, undocumented immigrants, replace Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas, and then just before the 2023 census and election cycle, write the filibuster into federal law to protect all of that American first progress from Republicans, which, come to think of it, sounds pretty good, as long as we don't let go of our rage.
For that, you don't have to worry about that here. And I do want to salute all of the voices that have weighed in on this, those that have been in this video and even those that haven't been. But to take us out, there can only be one.
One step away from the ground now, boy. Oh, no. You gotta move. You gotta move. You gotta move. You gotta move.
I'm about to get off after this game, man. You know, I'm gonna help you clean something. You gotta clean something. Because I feel like you want to clean the house before we move, and I'm like, let me go clean something. Scrub the vents or something.
Cat, Black Panther. I have a strange feeling we might be long-lost relatives.
I highly doubt
out of the street, gang culture is one of the dumbest things you can involve yourself in. There are only two outcomes to this lifestyle: death and prison. There is no other way around it, especially in 2026. So about 2 years ago now, the rapper Julio was killed. Now let's get this straight. This guy was no saint. He was heavily involved in the streets, and he got one of the outcomes. But with the way he went about being killed, the people that did it, they were extremely sloppy and ended up getting caught pretty fast. A few days ago, these guys were sentenced and found guilty. So right here we have a clip of all of the accused murderers. On screen right here is the youngest, I believe, named KingAgatha. In this clip, the judge listed off all the charges of each individual, and they were found guilty. But what I want to focus on is the reaction of this individual right here. So as y'all can see, man, his brother is crying. The reality has hit him. His life is gone. For what? At the cost of another black man. And I don't know how many times people got to see examples like this, bro. In this exact moment, he's feeling with pretty much every prisoner in that cell is telling you. Like, you know what I'm saying? You watch shows like Beyond Scared Straight. These people all say the same thing. Stay out the streets. Don't do this. Don't do that. But we keep seeing so many brothers still fall for the trap. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I'm a person that understands history. I know everything that black people have been through. A lot of the conditions and all of the disenfranchised has birthed street culture that we see today. But I tell all my brothers this, man, we know what they did. We know how evil these people are. We know the traps that they set out. We cannot keep falling for it. We cannot. And like I stated, bro, the crime that we did, what was it for? Y'all killed another black man. We go so hard and we slide on each other for damn near nothing. Like I stated, though, we still got people like George Zimmerman running around here. We still got the racist white dude, Chud the Builder, walking around calling people the N-word. He's still untouched. But a lot of these dudes, street dudes, you know what I'm saying, specifically, right, is ready to slide over nothing You saw a dude one day walking down the street, he looked at you wrong, now he dead. For nothing. But if it was one of these white dudes walking down the street with the, hey sir, how you doing, sir? Like I say, not wishing death on the white dude, but it's like, it's no way he should be walking around doing that. But we got some real certified crash outs out here that'll kill their own brother. Like, I just don't understand that shit. But that's why I do go so hard for the black community. When a lot of these white dudes get online talking about they scared of black people, bruh. Sad thing is, dog, you're not gonna get touched. If anything, they gonna praise you, walking into the hood and walking around like these black dudes, bruh. It's just something embedded in the community. We are taught to hate each other while to respect and love everybody else.
So this is that boy Shine Gay Fright. And word is this nigga come from a loving family.
Damn.
From the crib, his mama and his people got bread. Real money. From my house. Nice as fuck. Real money. I'ma keep it a band. I have no clue on how these young niggas got mixed up into the street fight. But goddamn it, what a way to go. They said this man provided all the guns. He the motherfucking arsenal.
What?
Goddamn. And he the shooter. He provided the ratchet. And he put one in his hand and put that bitch to use.
What? And he's 18 too. So Julio was what, like 26, 27? I'm pretty sure he ain't even, he didn't really have any personal beef against him. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Julio did something to his friends associated with him, but on a personal level, bro, you doing all this, he never did anything to you, per se. And he went that hard, the youngest. And for what, bro?
You came from a loving household, boy. You lived in a nice neighborhood, nigga. And you chose the street life. You chose that follow behind 6 block and ATK and 1200. Boy, they about to cook your ass, you hear me? They gonna freaking see fry you, young blood.
This is a clip from the interrogation room, man. This dude was going through it. Let's just watch the clip right fast.
Let me out. Let me out, bro.
Daddy.
Let me out.
What's up, Feta?
Yeah.
Yeah. How far? Kicking booties.
Like he's trying to escape and shit up in there. It's crazy, bro. This is what happened when you get alone and you know what I'm saying, you're separated from all your friends and you just gotta sit here with your quiet thoughts. And you start thinking, damn, I really threw my life away. I really did this shit. Like that shit started to sink in. When it's just you by yourself, you ain't around your friends no more.
Better start thinking about how you gonna
You ain't around none of that. Those thoughts get deep. And you just realize how dumb that was. That split instant, you threw everything away. I ain't gonna lie, dog. I wouldn't be surprised if that young man harmed himself in prison because everything is just crashing down on him now. He knows that his life is over. And hopefully, man, anybody that's watching this video and involved in the street, you realize that his life is not what it's meant to be. I try to tell all my brothers, man, to always have impulse control. Don't react off of emotion. Sit back, think, and map out all of the different outcomes that can come from this situation. In that moment, it may feel good and you reacting and pulling that trick, but once it's done, it's done. And now you're calmed down and you think, damn, I really just did this. Did I really just take this person's life? Did I really just fuck my life away? All that stuff comes back at you full circle when you could have been just out the way, working your chill 9-to-5 job, going back home, playing the game, living your boring, mundane life, but you got your freedom. And it's like you always appreciate the things when they're gone. Now you in that jail, so you like, bro, I had it so good. You know what I'm saying? I had it so chill. I had my freedom, bro. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I feel for the street people, but I could never just throw that freedom away. I love my freedom. Especially brothers that got responsibilities out here, man. God forbid you a father, you got kids. You know what I'm saying? I can't. I did something I couldn't fathom. That was me personally. Like, I wouldn't do shit to throw that away.
I am a high school algebra teacher in the largest public school district in the state of Tennessee, which also comes with it being the most disenfranchised and impoverished districts in Tennessee, primarily because the majority of our student population are Black people. And today, I'm here to talk about the epidemic, quote unquote, of the YN. And I'm here to talk about it from a teacher's perspective because I can see it, I'm seeing it from the ground and how it's developing, and I can tell
kind of where it's going, if that makes sense. In the purpose of conversation, I do not subscribe to the term YN. I understand it is a caricature of describing young black men who might be in trouble or might have like certain decisions that they make due to the circumstances and the environments that they're growing up in. But I do not subscribe to calling young black men YN. So I wanted to start off by saying that. Most of the time when you hear people talk about just where black people are as a community in today's time, especially with young people, you hear a lot of it being blamed on the parenting, on the system, on the education system, et cetera, and all of those things are true. I think this conversation is a lot more nuanced and it takes place with the intersectionality of all of it. So in order to not make this video extremely long, I'm going to actually break this down into 3 parts. In this part, I will talk explicitly about parenting. And the parenting goes back a lot further than I think some people are cognizantly thinking about. The parenting goes back to, especially in the black community, we're going back to Reaganomics, right? When you have multiple generations of people not being present due to drug abuse, due to mass incarceration, due to the perpetuation of like the welfare state, all of these things, right? They create this kind of like dependency in this environment, and that is kind of what we're seeing the effects of trickled all the way down.
That's why I say all the time that you have to go back to understand why things are so messed up the way it is now. 400 years of slavery, boom, Jim Crow, segregation, redlining, Hotel Pro killed all the leaders, people working heroin crack, that trickles down to YN epidemic of 2026, literally. And I hope when she gets into this part about parenting, I want to add this in first. We can go back to capitalism as well. A lot of these parents, they don't have time for their kids because guess what? They have to work. And yes, you can say that they shouldn't have had all these kids in the first place. That is true. That's why you don't just go laying around and sleep with anybody. And that's for men and women. So then they have these babies. And guess what? Kids are expensive as hell. The parents are at work all day. And sometimes it's just one. The mama, she was working all day. You can go watch out there and give attention to this child. You gonna look for it in the streets. You gonna look for it to be that's in his game. Literally, bro.
You know, these things happened 30 plus 40 years ago. But I think now we're starting to see the effects. So with the parenting explicitly, right? Parenting matters so much here because the parents weren't present, right? So we're talking about the crack epidemic and the whole dropping guns and drugs and all of these things into our neighborhoods and completely destroying the black community. Most of the damage of that is because of lack of presence. So you have the original doctors, lawyers, nurses, teachers, businessmen, these people who were pillars in the community, now addicted to drugs and not able to be present for said community. So when they should have been in the households or in the neighborhoods, helping to raise children, helping to show up for children, helping like making sure they're going to school, making sure the kids are always taken care of. You have a lot of children who ended up raising themselves or were being raised by their grandparents, which happened to be the boomers at the time. And when you talk about being raised by boomers or grandparents, now we're talking about permissive parenting because realistically, a grandparent cannot show up in the same ways that your parent can because of different restrictions, whether it be mobility, age, job, all of that, right? There's a reason. So now we have a bunch of teens, children with no authority and nobody can hold them accountable presently because of different restrictions. And then they continue throughout their life without presence, without accountability, without community. And then they raise and have their own children. And because none of that was present during their childhood, they don't know how to do that for the next generation. And then that happened with millennials and the older Gen Zs. And then now we're starting to see like this YN epidemic, quote unquote. Because now we're seeing the effects of children who are born to parents who were not raised and who did not have presence in the community. So now this isn't a conversation about people's willingness to parent or the ability to parent. It's about, did they even have a foundation of what their parenting looks like? And I think that is what we're dealing with right now. And a lot of the whole permissive parenting, wanting to be your kid's friend, wanting to level with your kids more, I think is coming more out of the need to not feel how they felt about their parents. Right, so they show up for their kids in ways that don't always encourage discipline, accountability, integrity, et cetera, et cetera. And then how that translates to the progression of like this YN culture is that you have an entire generation of people who are not considerate of others because nobody's teaching them to be considerate because their parents had to fend for themselves. And sometimes their grandparents, their aunts and uncles all had to fend for themselves. We get this mentality of is you versus everybody. And then when you teach that to a child whose brain is not fully developed, then their children are already selfish in general because that's the natural. Right, so now you have a generation of people who are being taught to be individuals and to only think of self. So it is not necessarily that they have the desire to hurt others, it is the fact that they live in selfishness. That's it. It's because they don't have any reference point or any metric of what real morality, compassion, and empathy looks like because they're being raised by people who had no empathy themselves as children. So how do you teach it if you don't experience it? And I know what you're saying. Some people learn how to do it, some people don't. That's the parenting aspect. I don't think that people are inherently trying not to be good parents. And I also think they're not making good decisions about whether or not they actually want to be parents.
Yeah.
A lot of people have kids who don't actually want to be parents. And that's another thing that they're saying.
Shout out to her. She did a great breakdown in part 1. I want y'all to go check out part 2 and 3. All that shit out there. And to sum up this video, man, the Virginia state life is death to prison. There's no other way around it. Black community, we gotta wake up, dog. We got so many different forces targeted at us. But at times, we seem like our biggest enemies. We gotta build up more community. Let's start greeting and speaking to our brothers more. Like I said, it's something that I took upon myself a few years ago was whenever I see another black man, I'm gonna say what's up to him. I'm gonna smile, I'm gonna wave, I'm gonna shake his hand, I'm gonna try to talk to him. I'm 24, man, and I really want to make a change within the black community, like especially, you know, my age range, all the brothers. Cause we pretty much the future now. You know what I'm saying? We in charge right now. The youth, they looking up to us. We got to set the standard. All my brothers, you know what I'm saying? All the YouTubers I see, I've been seeing a lot of more black YouTubers that come online and speak about this shit, bro. And I'm glad that we're able to do this, man. Whether we realize it or not, we do make a little change. This may be a snippet. We doing something, man. And no more talking. I have a great breakdown on YN culture on my main channel. And I don't know if a lot of y'all saw it, but I suggest y'all check out that video. I went in detail, basically how the young lady did. And I cooked it up, man. I think that'll be a great watch video. Give a good example of why being a part of the street, you know, gang culture is one of the dumbest things you can involve yourself in. There are only 2 outcomes to this lifestyle: death and prison. There is no other way around it, especially in 2026. So about 2 years ago now, the rapper Julio was killed. Now let's get this straight. This guy was no saint. He was never involved in the streets, and he got one of the outcomes. But with the way he went about being killed, the people that did it, they were extremely sloppy. They ended up getting caught pretty fast. A few days ago, these guys were sentenced and found guilty. So right here we have a clip of all of the accused murderers. Screen right here is the youngest, I believe, named KingAgatha. In this clip, the judge listed off all the charges of each individual, and they were found guilty. But what I want to focus on is the reaction of this individual right here. So as I can see, man, this brother is crying. The reality has hit him. His life is gone. For what? At the cost of another black man. And I don't know how many times people got to see examples like this, bro. In this exact moment, he's feeling with pretty much every prisoner in that cell is telling you. Like, you know what I'm saying? You watch those like Beyond Still Straight. These people all say the same thing, man. Stay out the streets. Don't do that. But we seeing so many brothers still fall for the trap. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I'm a person that understands history. I know everything that black people have been through. A lot of the conditions and all of the disenfranchisement has spurred the reports that we see today. But I tell all my brothers this, man, we know what they did. We know how evil these people are. We know the chapter they set out. We cannot keep falling for it. We cannot. And like I stated, bro, the crime that these dudes did, what was it for? Y'all killed another black man. We go so hard and we slide on each other for damn near nothing. But like I stated, though, we still got people like George Zimmerman running around here. We still got the racist white dude, Chud the Builder, walking around calling people N-word. He's still untouched. A lot of these dudes, street dudes, you know what I'm saying, specifically, right, is ready to slide over. Nothing. You saw a dude one day walking down the street, he looked at you wrong, now he dead. For nothing. But if it was one of these white dudes walking down the street with him, hey, sir, how you doing, sir? Like I say, not wishing death on the white dude, but it's like,
Donald Trump has been throwing a tantrum all day and is lashing out at state regime media, which calls itself Fox. That's right. Trump is lashing out and attacking Fox because they had the audacity to allow on one of their programs, get this, a Democratic Congress member, Ro Khanna, appeared on a program on state regime media which calls itself Fox. They tried to press him using Trump and MAGA talking points, and Democratic Congress member Ro Khanna calmly, coolly, and confidently brought the receipts and explained what the American people are really feeling right now under this despicable Trump regime. And the Fox hosts were left stunned. They were silent. They had no way to rebut the truth bombs that Democratic Congressmember Ro Khanna was dropping on live TV. And Trump was watching this, and he was ranting and raving like, why are you just letting him say the truth? And he went on his social media platform, which has the dystopian name Truth Social, which is just all lies and propaganda. And he started attacking Fox. He started attacking Ro Khanna. He lost his damn mind. And then Khanna responded. This is the way, folks. This is how it's done. Tip to Democratic Congressmember Ro Khanna, who are fighting fire with the truth and extinguishing the fire of lies, the cauldron of lies, with facts. You are on the United States. You have the perfect count. Trump lashing out.
Wait to feel it.
My people look forward to the afterlife.
Too bad I can't have you in my realm, little king.
My soul is expected by my ancestors in Dijalia, where we will sprint with Bass forever.
Dijalia.
The battle
Hello,
starts in 5,
motherfuckers.
4, 3, 2, 1.
I just realized this is the first time I've talked all morning. You know when like you haven't talked and then you hear your voice and you're like, oh, this is my first speak of the day. And now Luigi's kind of freaking because she hasn't heard voices all fucking day. Which understands what's kind of a little thing. Look at the color red taste like. What? Oh, let's pop off. Let's pop off. Real quick. Hold on. I'm live on YouTube right now. We're going to be talking about the Trump Election Integrity Army and also the threat of nuclear holocaust. And then also the Supreme Court and the gerrymandering and all that shit. But we're live on YouTube. We're going to be live for like an hour and a half. Come check it out live on YouTube for the videos. There we go. I have a bunch of links. I have a bunch of links already, but I will take a look at the documentary as we do. The lovely videos and festival conference as we do. Alright. Oh, alright, let's see. Princeton State Representative Justin Jones brings a printout of the Confederate flag in the state capitol. Attaboy. I bet you they arrested him for this. Live check, I don't know, man. Just look at the beeps. You know what? Valid. What is this?
So Nick Fuentes had his...
Actually got me stoned. Holy shit, I'm so loud. Thank you for coming out for 4 months. So whether you want as long as the endemic, you want to love you first and hope you have an amazing day. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'll address this once and once only. I don't give a fuck about drama. You've never seen me cover my personal life drama. I don't do that. I don't give a fuck. He cheated on his wife. He had me convinced that he was in an open relationship so that he could cheat on his wife in front of him. And, yeah, other than that, I mean, then fucking Triv and Bradley fucking aired this whole thing out so it became huge online, and terrible fucking decision. They know it's terrible. That's why they deleted all their fucking videos. I don't give a fuck about any of this. I give a fuck about Donald Trump. I give a fuck about the Iran war. I give a fuck about America, the working class, convincing protests. That's what I give a fuck about. I don't give a fuck. They know they shouldn't have posted it. That's why they deleted their shit. They're not going to be on this broadcast for a very long time. I'm not having them on. I can't do it. I can't do none of that. Triv, Bradley, and Demick. Nobody. Done. You don't air out your dirty laundry online. You don't air out your shit online. You fucking idiots. I don't care. So, anyway, that is literally the only time you're gonna hear me address this. Okay? That is the only time you're gonna hear me address this. There we go. Alright, so I'm gonna go back to it.
The moment in the sun not too long ago, I feel like, we covered a lot of stuff.
Nothing on the charger? Look it up.
Stuff he was saying, they quite an age for himself.
Over there.
I mean, for the understandable reason that, here you have a right
The black one.
audience that's like,
The black one.
Trump on a regular basis, and, they put a dent in the perception of MAGA. But now, he appears to be losing his mind. He appears to be falling apart right in front of our eyes. So, I've seen a bunch of his stuff pop up on the timeline recently, and, let's just...
Thank you for that $2 donation, Caleb. Y'all still friends? I mean, yeah, I don't have any fuck with anybody. I don't do fucking anything, and nobody did anything to me. But this is also my career, and I am not hanging out with people who are drama and they're like. You see how you guys are commenting about this. This is why I'm not hanging out with them until it is completely get it done. Until it is a thought of the past, because I'm here for work. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for things that actually fucking matter. Not a guy. Oh, breaking news! Guy cheats on wife. Welcome to humanity. So yeah, you see what I'm saying? It's the fact that these comments are in my chat. That's why I'm not going to be hanging out with them. Okay. And also, one last point. Do you think I don't have drama in my life? I do. I don't air it out online because I'm not a fucking idiot.
It's incoherent at best. It's violent and disturbing at worst, but also...
Alright, now we're going to check in on Dark World Commander Belinsky.
So let's start with...
Oh, dude, Italians always have drama? Yeah, and you know what Italians do? Keep our fucking shit in-house, bro. I'm telling you, it's shit like this that makes me be like, I don't know, maybe Italians are white. Maybe Italians are white. I keep my shit in-house.
As per usual, with all these right-wingers, they are not fucking allies. And regardless of every now and then, as my dad used to say, the blind squirrel might find an acorn.
I'm here for the news. That's verbatim what I told Triple Bradley. Is that the overwhelming majority of your followers are here for breaking fuck the news. They're here for news update. They don't give a shit about this. Anyway, let's stop addressing this. I don't care anymore. I don't care.
When eventually he will...
Stupidest, most childish, petty bullshit I've ever seen.
He would say some absolutely insane shit. So here he is, after staunchly criticizing Trump for over a year now, he then delivers this for us, which shows fundamentally he agrees with him on one of his biggest projects, which is lawfare against people who are on the left and liberals and Democrats.
I actually support the indictment. I support the investigation. I don't know if it's going to hold up in court. I don't know if it's good, legally speaking. But I do think it's a huge step in the right direction, and the Trump administration should be doing this with all these left groups. I don't know why we stop here at the SPLC. We should have something like this, and maybe not specifically a fraud indictment.
Alright, I think I know what this video is essentially summing up. We're not going to watch the entirety of it, but he's talking about how Nick Fuentes is like, he's been trying to distance himself from Trump, and now that Trump is actually like going full-fledged fascist and cutting up the maps and not allowing voters to have what they voted. Excuse me. Not allowing voters to have what they voted for. The Virginia redistricting and the Southern Poverty Law Center and all that, like Nick is he's like praising Trump for this. So I mean, the guy is a grifter through and through. He always fucking has been. I've said that for his dogs. Video threat is anti-West for Democratic politics. Oh, I heard about this. This shit is so funny. We're reading about this. Oh, beautiful sunset while you're waiting for your pizza. White bus. Oh, beautiful cat. Straight belly. Straight belly. Soaking up the sun. Straight belly. Yeah, dude, I'm afraid of Erica Kirk. I'm genuinely afraid of Erica Kirk. Yeah, I've got this. I've got a lot of stuff like this queued up. Where do I want this? Here? Yeah, put that there. She's gonna come knocking one night, dude. Dude, Erica Kirk comes knocking, I'm a tweak out. I'm gonna have an actual tweak out. She's a genuine demon from hell. May 8th, the U.S. and Iranian forces clashed in the Gulf, and the United Arab Emirates came under a renewed attack. But President Donald Trump said a ceasefire was still holding despite the flare-up. Yeah, because he doesn't understand what a ceasefire is. All right. I know, I have that queued up as well. Demented shit. I have that queued up as well. Thank you for the 4 months. Hitting the bong while watching your stream, so can I get a Bella Ciao? I can hit you with a Bella Ciao. Una mattina mi sono alzato, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Una mattina mi sono alzato e ho trovato l'invaso, un partigiano, portami via. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, 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 partigiano, portami via. Che mi sembra di morire. I didn't know Super Chat sent you country names. Only one.
Come to me, my son.
Only one. Only one.
Come to your papa.
Right.
Come to your papa. Come to your papa. Come, sit down with your papa.
All right, I think we're good.
Come, sit down.
I'll keep this in. We have a lot to cover. I want to watch this before I start recording. See if there's anything good in it. This is kind of new.
Yeah.
4 hours ago.
It's surprised.
Close to 4 hours ago. This is from May.
You said? You bored? You don't know what to do? You don't want to experience, but you already experience everything in your immediate atmosphere? So you want to go into space and experience more things? Okay.
Yes.
C'est passé.
No true king makes decisions only for himself.
You know, why can't they figure out how to like get him a microphone?
Make sure you explore under the seas before you go into space.
I'm actually not listening to this simply because
I still don't go in that cave, but you want to go all the way into outer space.
They hang out around the helicopters when he answers Gaggle questions so that like it's next to impossible.
The battle starts in
$10. Much appreciated.
What?
I'm not gonna actually fucking listen to that because that's annoying as shit. Yeah, they 100% put him near the fucking helicopter so that it's harder to hear his stupid bullshit.
Oh shit, they tried to kill you. Oh shit, they killed you.
I think it's complicated, but it's not really
tough. We're going
to talk about Netanyahu saying that he will not give contribution to end the war. What is this? We have... Oh yeah, Trump said that what he's doing in Iraq is actually love scams. Let me see if I can find that on Twitter.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Maybe he didn't say it on camera.
I wasn't far back. Oh, you got I hope.
Nearly dead. And it might not happen, but it could happen. I believe they want to deal more than I.
No, that's way too long.
U.S. confirmed 3 military veterans killed under Iranian fire in the Strait of Hormuz Thursday.
Also called them love that.
No U.S. assets were struck and forces were able to intercept the attack. The U.S. called the attack unprovoked, saying forces. Citizens also learned the U.S. carried out strikes on 2 Iranian ports in retaliation. President Trump told ABC News the strikes Thursday were a provoked attack. CBS's national security concerned over port in retaliation.
¿Dónde estás, mi padres?
We'll have that.
¿Dónde estás, mi amigos?
Okay.
You know I don't think that, but I
Related videos, I am concerned with the marks of letters the Democrats are trying to party. Yeah, I mean, you should always be afraid of infiltration. This is what I talked about with Grant Platt. I am one of the few people out here against Grant Platt trying to infiltrate socialist wing or the left flank of the Democrat institution, the Democrat establishment. Yeah, no, you should always be afraid of Democrats to infiltrate because people can read the room. People are evil, like a lot of Democrat establishment, are fucking evil, but they're not stupid. And they see the, they see the rise of progressive values and see the way that people aren't silly with the well blue no matter who type shit. They actually they have red lines now. So a lot of these people think that the best way for them to maintain popularity is for role play with us. That's really happening. Hey Chris, can you name me a successful communist state? Burkina Faso? What that's making? Burkina Faso. There's also one. Vietnam? Vietnam, I believe. Yeah. But also, you have to remember that every single time there's ever been a communist country, or almost every single one of them, the U.S. military and the CIA, they do everything they possibly can to destroy those nations. So I always like to report with a question like this: can you name a communist country that didn't have CIA or U.S. military involved? Well, China, I wouldn't call China communist. I don't know if they call themselves a communist party.
It's a fight to the core.
People's Republic of China, not communist?
No.
I did what China, you missed it.
They putting L's on my R. That ain't G thus far.
Alright, so we got a lot to talk about. We talk about Yahoo. Love Tap, War Still Raging, Trump threatens nuclear bombing them.
It's my last game.
Fox News.
Putting nails on my name.
Expired deals.
Say no game.
Trump announces his election integrity army. Trump refuses to say that the world. We have this interview with Cheryl Atkinson. Don't do that at the tail end. Netanyahu blazing Hitler. Trump talking about the hantavirus, me. And this is funny. Alright, yeah, I think we're good. I did see SNL making fun of Pete Hegseth and Brett Kavanaugh, Kash Patel with, what was it? Was that Matt Damon? That shit was really funny.
I put some dollars.
DPRK is communist, right? No, they're just a dictatorship. They're just a dictatorship.
Charlie, turkey.
That was last month.
I just popped a turkey. Charlie, turkey.
Anyway, I think it's time to cook in.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
I think it's time to cook in.
Alright.
Y'all locked? Y'all loaded?
What I'm gonna eat, huh?
Alright.
What about a small brother, huh? No, it's alright. I feed myself. I don't need food. Take your ass to it. That's all you do is work. You don't take care of home, man.
Here you go.
Just on the fucking 90s working hard.
The battle starts in 5.
Can't feed me.
3, 2,
I'll play this game all day.
You know what I'm gonna do
Get off the game.
I'll leave you with a advertisement. We're gonna have the new advertisements relatively soon. Shag is here. Hello, Shag. I'm gonna go fill up my coffee. Give me 60 seconds, all right? And then we're gonna start the show. Actually, support the business.
Do you know my game? Because I will maintain the dang, my game. So, fight.
It is the fucking villains on my books. It is a villains on my books. It is a villains on my books. It is a villains. What did that do? I am blacker the panther. The blacker the panther, the sweeter the spear. Spear chaka. Hua! Hua! What? Yeah. We have disassembled those who assemble.
Actually, before we start, Dad, where's that video of
Call me Akio, baby.
broken leg? Is that on your Instagram? Is it on your Instagram? What's that?
Kill the spawn of
section. Really fucking.
He is dead. Yeah. Next for the movie to explore. Oh, sweetie, midnight flame. You can run like an egg. For healing in hell. Do not know what it is. What? I am trying to survive in this dirty experience.
Oh my god, here it is.
Kill the motherfucker. Kill the
They're fucking diving a fucking split because her leg is shot.
Who is shooting at you? Stop it, he's shooting at you. Giant, not a bird of the pound. Bird of the pound.
Also, the first part of that, when you hit the bong, let me go back. When you hit the bong and it starts screaming, it's like you hit the bong of eternal rage and pain. When I hit the bong of eternal pain and suffering.
Us against the world.
It is your experience. It is your experience. You are the spirit. It is your experience. Fight, boy, fight.
So I'll never forget when my mom broke her arm. The noises she made. My mom breaks her arm and she was. It's like a guttural. It's a guttural noise. Oh, it's insane in my brain. Insane in the brain. All right. Make sure you follow Jag on Instagram. Jag is a bad word. Okay. All right. Now are you guys ready to cook it? Are you guys ready to cook it?
My strength is renewed.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all cooked it? $10. I think I'm going to go with major and Soviet and Yugoslavian history. I am tired of the lies perpetuated by the left. It's getting to a point where it's becoming a boogeyman and a fetishized caricature. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't believe. Real quick side note before we start this. Did you guys see? What? Did you guys see Hassan Piker on his live stream do a poll about how many of his chatters didn't know that Pearl Harbor was in response to the American blockade and early embargo of Japan? I'm gonna choose to believe for a second that my chat is smarter than that, right? I'm gonna choose to believe that my chat is smarter than that, right? You guys knew that, or it's not really your fault if you didn't. You guys were taught that, right? Like, I thought this was common fucking knowledge.
I still have some heart in me.
You didn't know that? But, like, you guys didn't think. No, wait. Hold on. You guys didn't think that Japan literally surprise attacked us with like no reason whatsoever, right? Like, did you guys think that there was literally no reason? Is that what they told you?
I need to myself. Too much ice, my lord.
Do a poll. Yeah, we do a poll.
Let's see. Climb in the wall. Go to the spear.
Guys,
climb
that is insane.
Go to the spear. Smash him aside. Smack, smack, smack. Run on the back. Go to the spear. Jump from here. Go to the spear. I die. Like a sucker. Damn fool.
Complete surprise attack.
3 more minutes of pain to give them nothing. The pain
I'll give this 60 seconds. Vote on that. We'll give this 60 seconds. Because I have to see. There's a reason why I didn't put the blockade. Because maybe you weren't told about the blockade, but were you told about something? You told about anything regarding it?
You ought to win, my friend! Until the end!
Okay, it's like it's like 60-40 right now. It's not crazy. It's not crazy. Down! Down Valenti version.
You took my soda.
The Japanese had
drink it or give it back.
They were moving their way through Manchuria. You heard of the rape of Nanking, right? The Japanese, before World War II started, and because people still argue, like, if Japan and Germany are allies, then didn't World War II start in like 1931 with the Japanese invasion of China? And a lot of people say, no, it started with the invasion of Poland. You know what I'm saying? It's a matter of perspective. But the Japanese had launched their invasion of China. Oh my God! You know what? Let me explain this.
Calm down.
60
yes. Calm down.
Let me explain this really fast, okay?
Get that can.
And you guys can
right there. Get that soda. You see it.
The Americans were coming out of World War I, right? And before World War I, we were a very isolationist country. We didn't believe that we had anything to do with European wars. We let the Europeans fight, and then we ended up getting dragged into World War I because of the Zimmerman telegram, and a lot of Americans died, not that many, but we didn't want anything to do with World War II. A very large portion of the American population wanted nothing to do with Europe's wars, right? So FDR, he was working hand in hand with both Neville Chamberlain and then Winston Churchill on helping arm the UK and France and sending them weapons and sending them ships and all that, right? But it was next to impossible because we weren't actually militarily involved, and the Germans were patrolling the entire fucking Atlantic Ocean, right? It was hard to get goods to them. So we knew that the Germans were allied with Japan, and Japan was fighting their war in China, mowing their way through the Chinese, right? The Japanese were relying on oil from us, and we had put a blockade around oil exports that go into Japan, and on top of that, we had put an embargo on their oil, and oil runs the war machine. So Japan had told us multiple times, they're like, hey, we need this oil. We're in the middle of this war. You gotta give us the oil. We said, no, we're not giving you the oil. And then they said, if you don't give us the oil, we're gonna have to do something about that. We said, no, go ahead. And then FDR got wind. FDR was told, the Japanese tell FDR, we're going to attack the United States of America.
He said for GPS.
And FDR, instead of calling up Hawaii, he writes a note in the actual house, and he sends it through the mail. And that note shows up to Hawaii, a warning. It shows up after the attack on Pearl Harbor. So the theory is, that's what I believe, that FDR allowed Pearl Harbor to happen because it would American people wanting to go to war with Japan, knowing that the American people were so uneducated that they had no fucking clue about the German and Japanese alliance, and that if America goes to war with Japan, we automatically go to war with Germany. And this was a way of getting the Americans involved in the European theater. Like, well, if we go to war with Japan, then we'll be able to actually go to war with Germany. That's the reality. Yeah, it's called manufactured consent. We've made entire videos about this. That's, yes, very similar to 9/11, yes.
That is the reality. Nick, you're going to say we shouldn't have fought against the Axis powers? No, I'm not an idiot. No. The Germans need to be defeated. The Japanese need to be defeated. The point that I'm trying to make is that Pearl Harbor was not an unprovoked attack. It was a manufactured way for America to get involved in World War II. That's genuinely all it was. You should make a video on that? Yeah, maybe I'll fucking shit. I mean, I've talked about this so many times, bro. I have talked about this so... You have no idea. It's like 5 fucking times. I know you've been cooking for so long. You've been cooking for so long. Alright. Let's dive in. Let's dive in. Here we go.
No attack can harm me.
Benjamin Netanyahu refuses to give Donald Trump permission to end the war in Iran. And this is also just like coming straight out of Benjamin Netanyahu's mouth. He's like, no, this war will not end until the entirety of Iran's enriched uranium is removed from the country by hand. Right? The thing is, the Israelis have also made it abundantly clear that they refuse to send Israeli soldiers into the war in Iran. They're going to send the Legion of Goyim, the United States military. So we will fight our wars for them, as we have always done. On top of that, we have clips of Trump claiming that his bombing of Iran, which happened, I believe, on Thursday, they were just love taps. So Trump is claiming that they're just love taps. We're going to watch a little bit of I believe Ryan Gray talking about that. Trump is threatening states that refuse to rig their midterm elections in favor of the Republicans. Trump threatened the nuclear holocaust. Direct quote is he said, they better sign the agreement. He said, if there's no ceasefire, you're going to have to look at one big blow coming out of Iran. That is again, this is now the 10th threat of nuclear annihilation and nuclear holocaust. I got clips of Trump bombing Iran. What else? We got Trump crashing the fuck out on his Truth Social about Fox News, literally crashing out Fox News for having Ro Khanna, friend of the show, Ro Khanna, on the fucking, on the show. You know what I like about Ro Khanna? He's a friend of the show, we've talked, and I've also told him to go fuck himself. And we're so friends, you know what I mean? So I like that. Trump announces his new election integrity army that will be in every single state for the midterm election. This needs to be blasted out because this is part of Project 2025 and 2026, which is a 100,000 strong private army for Trump. How many fucking times have I told you about this? How many fucking times have I told you about this guy? How many fucking times? What that is going to be is a combination of ICE and white supremacist organizations. I know ICE is a white supremacist organization, but they're also federal, right? Well, you're going to have ICE, and you're going to have probably deputized white supremacists, okay? Trump says the Iranian, the deal to end the war in Iran is completely unacceptable. Did you see BB's 60 Minutes overtime interview? I saw a little bit of it, and I'll have some clips for that when we talk about that. Trump is rejecting the peace deals in Iran, the election integrity army. Trump did his most insane interview yet with Cheryl Atkinson. I'm talking like the weakest interview he's ever fucking done. Trump says that we shouldn't worry about the Hanta virus. I found out that the word Hanta in, Yiddish, it actually means lie. So the Israelis, in their language, this is called the lie virus. So I'm a little freaked out about that. We should have fucking bombed that shit. And yeah, we have a lot to talk about. We actually have to talk about it. 3 minutes to the intro. Hi, how are you? I'm Chris Valenti, welcome to Valenti Pod. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to get right into it. But before we do, I'm going to give you a quick reminder that this is real independent media. This is not online media. This is independent media. I have no sponsors. I have no advertising. I have never had a conversation with a billionaire or a government or any of that shit. Unlike almost every single other online media I've ever seen, the only other person I've seen that does this is Kyle Kalinske. Okay, so shout out to my dark woke commander Kalinske. I fucking love you. You created me, but based on what I'm telling you, I don't make much money, okay? So if you do want to help me financially, there's a couple ways you can do it. Buy merch. We got posters, mugs, hoodies, whatever. You can buy merch. The thanks button down below to take me directly. You can get the join button down below. You can become a member of the channel for $5, and you can become a patron on Patreon and donate $1 a month, $2, $5, whatever you want. Other than that, if you can't help me financially, please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to help boost me in the algorithm. Because, again, I refuse to be a fucking sellout, so I really don't pop off in the algorithm. If you were wondering why these random videos get popped off so much in the algorithm, it's literally because they are being paid by these massive organizations who can actually afford search engine optimization to make sure their videos get more clicked. So, I don't do that. I won't do that. I refuse to do that. Grassroots funded by you, OAL, the only Americans left. I live that. Without further ado, let's dive right into the shit. So the first thing I want to talk about, we're not watching Benjamin Netanyahu's full 60 Minutes interview because, as you know, if you've been here for a while, you cannot watch 60 Minutes on a live stream without being hit with a copyright strike. You can't watch it full. So we're going to watch just a couple of clips. But this is the moment where he says that, he can't give Trump permission to end the war.
It is who decide when it is.
Well, I will decide when it will. I think it accomplished a great deal, but it's not over because there's still nuclear material enriched.
I love how this motherfucker is like. This is an interview with the president of the United States because it's not like he or his fucking people are fighting in Iran. It's us. Hey, is the Americans' war in Iran almost over? No, it's not over until I say so.
You thinking how it was in Iran? There was still.
Please note that he said you go in and you take it out. He didn't say we. He didn't say we. He didn't say we go in, we take it out. He said, you go in and you take it out. That is very intentional language. The Israeli, do you think Benjamin Netanyahu is stupid? He's not. He's cool. He's evil, but he's not stupid. He knows that is a fucking suicide mission. He knows you send in boots on the ground to actually try to infiltrate Isfahan or Natanz and try and actually take out enriched uranium. That is a fucking suicide mission. So you go do it. You go in. You go. You get the enriched uranium and you take it. Listen to the bravado on his